So if we talk through now the setup, these are sort of short shot setups as we talked about, okay? So on the left-hand side is kind of your first, and if we sort of look in, you can see here that golf ball now is quite a long way forward of your stance, okay? You have got a narrow stance, which is good, but your hands now are a long way left of your body in front towards the target, okay? So they're in an awkward position to start with, okay? Making it a lot harder to make good contact with that golf ball, okay?
Okay.
So we're going to set up to this. There's two types of setup. You've got the full setup where your feet would be about so wide, foot would be there, which would therefore leave the golf ball now just left to centre. What you've done now is you brought your trail foot in closer, which now means that blue line is nearer the back foot, okay?
Yeah.
You've just moved your foot in closer. It hasn't moved relative to your left foot, just your right foot's moved in closer, which in turn has moved your top half of your body to the left. So now your body's in a position where the centre part of you is just nearer the target, shall we say, than the golf ball, which is meaning your club's going to bottom out a little bit later in the swing, more so here, rather than behind the golf ball as you did in the past. Okay, and that's I think why you put the ball way back. On the assessment on Friday, the ball was back here somewhere with the club shaft leaning forward, because you probably chipped a few times and the golf ball was being hit behind the golf ball and you're just mishitting it. So if that's the ball there, for example, and you're hitting the ground here, logic will say, okay, I'll move the ball back there. Okay, but then you start moving your contact back with that, so now your contact's here, move the ball further, and it gets the ball, how far back do you actually go? You keep going further and further back, okay? So getting that ball in the right position is going to be key. And as I said, you've got four kind of shot/setups. You've got long shot, short shot, and you've got high shot and low shot, and just combinations of them based on which club you take and what setup you use. As I said, you might use this sort of low short shot, 7-iron, 6-iron, 8-iron, where your feet are going to be narrower, and what you would then do is simply judge how long the swing needs to be by how far your club goes back. If you think of the clock face again, so if we sort of put a circle around here, if the club is down here at setup, that's kind of 6 o'clock, we've got 7, we've got 8, we've got 9, we've got 10, go back. We got 9, we got 10, we got 11. Now you won't be going many more swings up that far because your feet are going to be too narrow. Okay, if you swung the golf club back to here, it would literally be your arms and your shoulders. No real wrist is going to be working from your club's going to go back to about here, and that would give you enough distance for about a 10-yard shot, maybe here to the wall down there kind of thing. If you want a bit more distance, the club can go back further. So the further back that club gets pulled, the more momentum and the more speed you have. This is your pitching wedge, was back to about kind of 9 o'clock-ish there, okay? So a 9 o'clock pitching wedge swing goes through the sort of same sort of distance as you swing through, strikes the ball nicely, and we swing through sort of 9 o'clock position. Yes, your lower half can still move. Yes, your hips are going to rotate, and certainly your torso is going to rotate to target, okay? The one key thing at setup to add to this, obviously, the weight's got to stay on that left side, and you keep it there. Now, when you do that, we're talking a subtle little lean to the left. We're not sort of just planting all your weight on the one side so you're losing balance. It's just a little bit of a movement to that left foot, and that will just in turn help you strike the ball a little bit cleaner, especially in the winter now when the ground's soaking wet. You hit the ground inch behind the golf ball, the ball goes there and the mud just covers over the top of it, okay? So getting yourself in a better position there with that setup's going to really help you play these shots successfully, and I think eliminate the doubt. If you just watch the left-hand swing here now, when you're just a bit scoopy, a bit flicky, and just didn't really know what you were kind of trying to do, and there was no kind of sort of thought process of the shot, okay? So with that setup in mind, if we can get small setup, choose the club based on what you want to do, and then your length of backswing now will determine how far the ball needs to go. If it goes through a little bit longer with a follow through, that's absolutely fine. It's the length of backswing that's going to determine how far the ball's going to go, okay? So that sort of relates to the shot. As we did discuss today, obviously, the thinking area. So this is the box you're going to be hitting the ball from. So that therefore is the doing area. Back here now is the thinking area. This is where you think about the shot, analyse what's in front of you. Ask yourself the question, what am I actually trying to do with this golf shot? Is there something in the way? If there's a tree in the way, we now know how to play these shots lower, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, back into the plate. So what are you trying to do? You're trying to get a high shot, a low shot, long shot, short shot. What are we trying to avoid? Is there water on the right side? Is there trees? Is there bunker? Is there hazard I've got to try and avoid? And you start picking out what you want to try and do with the shot, really, and just plan the shot. How can you make your next shot easier? That's the thing. And sometimes it's a judgment call for you, which will vary from day to day. Sometimes I play some of my best golf where I've not been hitting the ball well. So therefore, the decisions I've made have had to be sort of a little bit kind of taken aback. Go, well, if I was playing well, I could go over that corner, those trees, and knock on the green. But I'm not really playing well today, so I'll just knock it down the corner, wedge it on, and make the score that way, and still play to a good score because I'm playing within my skill set that day, and avoiding trouble, rather than going, last year I hit the ball over those trees on the green, lovely. And then knock in the trees and make a 10. You've got to play to what you're allowed to do any given day. Some days you're playing really well, some days not so good. But knowing what your skill set is, you've got to play to that as best you can, all right? But just planning your shot a bit more, like sort of pre-sat nav. If you had to make a long journey up to North Wales or London somewhere, or whatever it may be, a destination you're going, you'd be on Route Planner or the map. You'd be planning your route to get there. You wouldn't do that having started the ignition and started moving the car, would you?
Yeah.
The second that ignition goes in the key goes in the ignition and you turn the engine on, you know where you're going and what road you take. And there's also a contingency plan if there's a bump or if there's any traffic or any whatever that comes up in the way, or if you're actually going on the M4 to go up that way. There's a bit M4 rush hour, we'll just go up there, Brecon somewhere, we'll cut across that way. There's a plan. Rather than get in your car and off you go. One of the best stories I had to sort of relate to this friend of mine was in Cheltenham, and him and his mate were trying to decide a place where to go and play golf. He said, right, we'll fill up our tank of fuel, £50, which is maybe a bit better, maybe £40 back then, and we'll go heads or tails every junction. Heads left, tails right. And wherever we get nearest to, we'll stop there, play a game of golf, stay overnight and come back. How far or where do you reckon they got to? In Cheltenham, so where do you reckon they got to in the UK?
They're living in Cheltenham.
They lived in Cheltenham. They had a full tank of fuel, so best part of 500-600 miles.
Which direction were they going?
Well, heads left, tails right.
Okay, right. You're going to have to tell me that when I'm done my
They
job.
never left Cheltenham. They just kept going zigzagging around because they had no clear destination. So every junction, heads left, tails right. They kept going left. Okay, next one, left, right, get going around in circles. With no clear destination, you don't go anywhere. That's not the purpose of the story's all about. Oh, it's a funny sort of they just all drove around. So they saw them in cities 15 times on a tour guide kind of thing. But it just shows if you've got no clear plan of attack or no clear end game, you'll never get there. Okay, and in some ways, do that on the tee. If you're on the golf course, if this is kind of the tee here, do a little sort of mini diagram. If that's kind of the tee here now on a golf course, and the green is up there, and there's kind of the fairway. Okay. If there's water down here, for example, if I'm playing, they go, okay, right, well, I don't want to go in the water, so I'm going to aim sort of down the left-hand side of the fairway. So I'm not going to give myself a chance that I might go down there and go in the water. I'll play left side, okay? Now, if I'm up there, there's a bunker kind of here. Well, I'm not playing well enough to clear that bunker. I'm going to go down there, okay? And I'm on the green for 3. But you would plan that on the tee. If your first tee shot then wasn't so good and you ended up kind of back here somewhere, you go, well, okay, now I have to extra shots to get to green, so I'll just lay it down here now to avoid the water and then go there. And you just sort of reevaluate every shot down the hole, not going, okay, I must take a 5 on this hole. No matter what happens off, if I duff my tee shot 20 yards, I'm still going to go for the green. Well, hang on a second, give yourself a chance. You've duffed your first shot, just get the ball back in play. Take maybe a lesser club, sacrifice that one shot you just lost because you've missed the golf ball and get back in play. Okay, but that plan, and again, at the moment, that's not going to be something you're going to do anyway. You said at the moment, as you said, we can develop into that as we start playing more. But what we're all trying to get at is getting people to be better golfers, not better hitters of a golf ball. And that's the key. You can hit a golf ball second to none, well, great, but the scores, we say, don't match up to that. Yeah, exactly. And I think, hopefully, and I'm pretty goddamn confident of this, you'll be very surprised at some of the scores you actually start shooting when you start implementing some of these things in there, where you get a bit more sort of thought process with your pre-shot routine. Just stood back and okay, right, what am I trying to do? Okay, does that kind of make sense?
That was really useful now. I
Excellent.
think that was brilliant now, because that's something now that I can start concentrating on now, because I know what to do.
But the thing is, you can do that without having to go on the golf course. You can just be almost as daft as may sound in your back garden, so even in the living room. Okay, right. The thing is, you only need 5 yards of space. I'm going to go towards that hedge or that tree or that bit of fence and set up to that. How am I going to line up to that and go through that and practice that routine?
And with
setting
these simulators,
you
can just
just come on, exactly. Just come
book them there.
Book them for the shop, exactly. Or book the reception, Okay.
Okay, no, that's great.
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Very good.